On the top of a mountain, where a blizzard rages, lived a malicious Cringe, a shithead, and a grumbler. Most of all, he couldn't stand people, the bastards. The villain hated their common sense. The town of Lopukhburg down by the river, where the Lopuks had long lived in prosperity, smart, though simple as logs. They used their heads first, not their asses. They called white things white, bad things bad, and right things right. They harmed no one, made logical decisions, and communicated with each other calmly and tactfully. Common sense came first, not some bullshit. They had honest, intelligent faces. Everyone was friends. If there were quarrels, they resolved them peacefully and without going overboard. Cringe is furious. Power will be mine. I must urgently steal the Lopuks' common sense, deprive them of their minds, and then they can be broken, crushed, conquered, and made to suffer. Night and day, the villain ponders how to mess with these people's minds. Cringe doesn't eat, doesn't drink. He's completely gone. Suddenly, Eureka! Cringe yelled with all his might. He built a talking machine, huge, most powerful, beastly, and autonomous, louder than thunder, than the grunts of gorillas. He aimed it at the city and plugged it into an outlet, and the machine began to shout at the whole city. War is peace. Disease is a vaccine. Killing is good. There is no such nation. The worse, the better. Nature is false. Destroyers create. Myth. The Lopuks tried to plug their ears, but the stream of nonsense flows and flows, tearing the threads of logic and destroying the picture. Gaslighting will undermine the machine of consciousness. Just a few days and the result is ready. Like wild people, they eat each other, steal, break windows. They don't want to learn. There's no point in loving, and no point in working. Why buy when you can take? Why reason when you can just not give a shit? Why read when you can get drunk, steal, tear things apart, and bury yourself in a slop bucket? And Cringe rejoiced, laughing as he watched them gasping, dying from their wounds. Those who had looked to Cringe as a leader, now dying in blood, having signed on to any law. The parasite reveled in its power. The virus of stupidity spread like a plague. Death comes for the brainless suckers. We are the master race that rules them all. We are the Lopuks, most important and coolest of all. No government is better than our dudes. All the others are scumbags and fascists, but our killers are white and fluffy. Time will show who's right and who's blind. To live, we must eat bread. Power, net, food, gone. The end. A device doesn't work without common sense. A system is not cool without common sense. Gone. Cold, hungry. Where did I go wrong? Suddenly, an unexpected guest appeared in the cave, like a ray of sun breaking through the mire. The girl Masyanya crawled into the cave, angry, swearing, and raging.
Hey, Cringe, you're a moron, a dickhead. I'm speechless. Without common sense, the whole society dies. It's nice to rob when you're not judged. But soon there will be no one left to rob. After all, even the simplest things in the world without common sense are like an ass in a rocket.
Here, Cringe, have a rusk. A simple example. Eat it, our evil gentleman.
Cringe suddenly thought, I realize I've shoved a piece of bread up my nostril. But if I use common sense and reason, I could probably fill my stomach. Oh God, I was so wrong, he cried, and furiously worked the telegraph. Logic, fools! Cringe begged the Lopuks to forgive him and smashed the broadcast machine. They planned to execute the villain, but when he showed remorse, they decided to spare him. From then on, Cringe suddenly became a champion of common sense. He taught logic in schools himself. He tried to promote prudence, proving the impracticality of lies to a liar. A university grew in Lopukhburg. Reasonableness is a priority in the city. But Cringe was angry at those who weren't very reasonable. An impractical fool must be buried. Catch the scoundrel who drinks beer during the day. Burn the bearers of uncommon sense with fire. On a wave of enthusiasm, Cringe is king again, and the city has lost all control again. Devastation again, lawlessness and chaos, robbery and prison. Things are bad again. The simpletons are fleeing the country where the moron, the son of a bitch, perverted their common sense. High on a mountain, in his cave, a dead Cringe villain lies on the floor. Light smoke streams from the cannon, Masyanya's face, and soot on the front sight.
A tranquilizer, not a bullet. Don't be afraid, kids. People like Cringe belong only in a mental asylum. That's why it's called common sense. Because it harms no one. Good Lord.
The moral of the whole story is carried by the wind. The wind carries dust along the path. You can't measure common sense with a meter. Common sense is simple. You blockhead.